Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me for today's session. I'm really happy to be here with you and working with you to move your body. Let's take some time to connect some movement with breath and your mind. Bring yourself down to the mat to get started, flat on your back. Take your hands to your ribs. Inhaling, filling up. Exhaling, letting it out. Get involved here. Don't allow your breath to just come passively and move in and out of your body. Instead, feel the oxygen enter and feel it exit. Don't succumb to the circling thoughts in your mind and the distraction, but instead actively block them out and connect your breath. Breathing in, ribs expand. Breathing out, they actively come in together. I like to ask people to bring their hands to their ribs to give tactile feedback and to really ground down into your breath. Sometimes if our hands are somewhere else or by our sides, we don't get that connection into our body that really reminds us how human we are, how we move and connect, and how we can have a role in that and facilitate better movement. As you breathe in this time, feel that the air goes all the way into the back of your ribs, and then exhale, draw your belly in, deep core engagement, pelvic floor lifts as your rib halves knit together. Keep doing that now, feeling this full breath in, full breath out. Be as dramatic or intentional about it as you need to, and notice the connection from the inside. Find something to relax. Find something to release. And then bringing your arms up overhead. Moving through alternating arm, alternating leg. Press them away from you. Get the distance. Bring them back in, switching over. So just trying to facilitate movement with breath, with body. Don't worry about any of the specifics. Just feel as you move your arm and leg, trying to get them as far away from each other as possible. And then pausing in the center, take your hands down. Find your neutral pelvis, so come through posterior tilt, anterior tilt. Just do that a couple times. Find your pelvis moving independently. Feel how you exhale and posterior tilt, draw your belly in, core connects. And then take your neutral pelvis, separating your legs out so they're hip width and coming into your glute bridge. Drawing your belly in, core engages, press your heels in, lift, and lower. So no articulation just yet. I want you to find this hamstring and glute connection in behind. Feel your hips release across the front. Feel your core working. And of course, feel your breath connecting, rib halves knitting. 3 more. Really squeeze your glutes there at the top. Get that work happening. Last one. Now sitting down, we're going to flow through articulation. So you're going to start by posterior tilting your pelvis, imprinting your spine, draw your belly in, articulate your way up. And then from the top, ribs come together, exhale, articulate your way back down. Going through again, posterior tilt, draw your belly in. Feel now this spinal mobility we're starting to create. Articulating through one vertebra at a time. We're going to be spending a lot of time in this class thinking about the movement of your spine in all 4 directions, but also decompressively. Now this time when you're at the top, leave yourself there at the top. Press down into your left foot. Really ground down onto that side. And then lift your right leg up, straightening out, lower, and lift. Noticing here this length that you're creating through your leg, stability through your pelvis, still connecting to your breath. 3, 2, last one, placing it down. Reconnect now, right foot down, pelvis stable, left leg lift, lengthening out, lower, and lift. Thinking about your breath, releasing through your shoulders, not allowing any of that tension to creep into your neck. Draw your ribs together, core is engaged. 3, 2, last one. Placing it down, and then articulate your way back down. Hug your knees into your chest, gently rocking from side to side. And then keep hugging your right knee in, lengthen your left leg out along the floor. And really try to feel the full length there come through your leg, releasing across your hip flexor on the left side. Breathing into this space that you're creating across the front, releasing any tension. And then from there, switching over, leg lengthens out on the right side, left knee hugs in towards your chest. Really lean into, grow into, move into this release of the space across here. Your quads do not need to be flexed. Your hip flexor does not need to be turned on. Really let that open up. Any tension that you're holding in your hips, try to let it go. And then from there, both legs come in. Exhale, coming up into your upper abdominal lift. Double leg extension. Pressing out, pulling in. Starting now to get some really strong work into your deep abdominals. Feel how your belly button pulls away from your pants. Core engages, pelvic floor lifts on each exhale. Now I am coming through a slight posterior tilt here as I come up. If it's available to you to keep a neutral spine, or you would prefer to keep a neutral spine, go for it. I'm doing this now because it's really helping me get a little bit more space in my spine. Rounding through, coming through that flexion. Of course, strong work from your center, connecting to your breath. 3, 2, last one. And then flip your hands down to your hamstrings. Posterior to your pelvis, draw your belly in, feel that flexion through your spine, legs lengthen, and then bend your knees. Core engages. When your legs lengthen, find the exhale, work through your hamstrings, really trying to open up, down here, then your posterior chain. And of course, that comes from your deep abdominal work, pelvic floor lifting. Stay in it, keep breathing. Strong work from your center. Don't be afraid to get uncomfortable. Dig deep into your body. Let's do 3, 2, last one. Now into your scissors, keeping your legs lengthened out, driving through. Notice the work you get here from your center. Your abs are on fire. You're building that fire from within. Stay strong, you've got this. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Excellent, bringing them in. Lengthen your arms out, lengthen your legs out, give your whole body a really nice stretch. Feels so good to really get yourself burning there on the inside. I tell people that Pilates is like building the muscles from the inside out. So come back now to your neutral pelvis and then bend your knees. You're going to come into external rotation. And I want you to just open up as much as feels good for you. Heels are going to dig in. They're in a V shape. And then press them into the mat and glide them along the floor, pressing your feet away from you. And then hamstring activation, pull them back in. So you can think of this as leg slide in external rotation. I want you to try to keep your pelvis here stabilized, core engages as you exhale and draw your heels towards your sits bones. Now if this does not feel good for your hips or knees to be in external rotation, then feel free to go to parallel. But otherwise, really try to open up here into your hips. Leave them halfway in on the next one. Bring your knees up a little bit or your legs up a little bit so they're not completely open. And then on your exhale, feel that you press your heels into the mat, hamstrings engage, glute bridge, external rotation. Return back down. So I'm actually keeping a neutral spine and pelvis here, not articulating, to really, again, get that deep hamstring and glute work behind. Pelvic floor and hamstring connection. Thinking about strong core work here. Narrowing at your waist, ribs come together. Holding up this time, small hip dips. Drop down and return. So a small little bit here, but really feel that strong glute and hamstring work at the top. Thinking about that core connection. Exhaling, come back to your breath, keep going. 3, 2, last one. Very good, bring yourself down. Take your feet and legs back to parallel. Coming up with your arms towards the ceiling. You're going to press your hands towards the ceiling so you have this protraction of your scapulae behind you, and then retraction, squeezing your shoulder blades together underneath of you. Protraction, retraction, and just really allow yourself to come into this glorious shoulder mobility. So we're mobilizing here, moving through your range so that we can stabilize in a second as we go through a movement with the rest of your body. Now the next time you're going to come to kind of your, what I call your neutral shoulder position or your neutral scap position. So they're going to be connected underneath you, not completely retracted or protracted, but really connected, almost like they're flat into your back and someone is pressing their hands in and bringing them together. And then from there, keeping your neutral spine and core engaging, you're going to lift your legs up to tabletop, coming now through your dead bug. Alternating arm and leg pressing away from each other. So finding core connection here, keeping everything in your center undisturbed, so everything here stays the same. And as we take your limbs away from your body and create these long levers or longer levers, it requires more load from your core for the stabilization. Find that work. If it gets too much, if it doesn't feel good, then have a pause. Or leave your legs in tabletop and just bring one down to hover, and then back, and then the other. In Pilates, there are always modifications that are available to make it better for your body. 2 more. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Activating from your core, coming up into your upper abdominal lift, single leg extension, pressing up and return. So really feel this sense of opening here, again here across your hip as your leg presses out. Feel that you are drawing your belly button in towards your spine, away from your pants, connecting to your center. Narrowing at your waist, ribs coming together, connecting to your breath. That's 5, 4, Excellent. Coming down, feet placing your feet on the floor. Knees stay bent. Now taking your hands behind to support your neck. Finding your neutral spine and pelvis, and then exhaling, coming into your upper abdominal lift and lower. So just coming through your chest lift here, really indeed thinking about peeling your shoulder blades off the mat from underneath of you. Feeling that your rib halves come together, belly button pulls away from your pants, your belly button and ribs come closer together as you move through the rectus abdominis as the prime mover of this. Now, while the rectus abdominis is the prime mover, it is still, your core is still stabilized by your center, your deeper abdominal muscles, so your transverse, pelvic floor, multifidus. Think about still getting those connected on each exhale. You can get hands on. Feel as you come up that your belly button deepens, stays deep. I like to really dig in there and feel this work happening. Now you're going to start into the crossover. So you're going to cross over and down, and then the other side and down. We're working now to get a little bit of work into your obliques. Still imagining that you are trying to peel your shoulder blade off the mat behind you. And it's almost like you're rotating your armpit towards your thigh. Feel this stronger now in here and on the other side as you rotate. Oblique abdominals are really important for rotation of your spine and day-to-day movements that require twisting and rotating, like reaching up for something in the cupboard, putting on your seat buckle. Now you can make it more challenging by adding your arm extended across, coming down. So as you extend across, you can think about it like someone is pulling your hand, trying to lift you up off the floor by pulling on this hand across your body. Keep breathing. Let's do 2 more. And then we're going to add the legs if you choose. So you exhale, turning on your abs and lift your legs up to tabletop. And then coming across, alternating, one leg comes out, other leg stays. So it's like your single leg extension, but now doing it with your oblique work. Keep connecting here to your breath and regress to either of the previous modifications or previous versions if you need to have a modification. Two more. And then bringing yourself down. Hug your knees into your chest. You can take them out a little wide if you need to. And then we're going to do a little bit of back extension from lying on your back. So normally we would do this from prone on your stomach, and we're going to do that later, but I want to start with a little bit of it on your back. So extend your arms back up to the ceiling. And then on your inhale, you're going to bring them back and open up your ribs to the ceiling, and you're tilting your pelvis like you're trying to really create a huge dramatic arch underneath. And then exhale, posterior tilt, protract your scapulae. Feel that you're trying to round your spine into the mat. Inhale, open up, extension. Exhale, flexion. So in a second, shortly, we're going to come up and do this from 4-point kneeling. And I want you to notice how it feels in both directions. So this is essentially your cat and cow lying down. So notice in a little bit the difference in orientation when you're in 4-point kneeling. And if it feels better, different, worse on your spine. Again, we're decompressing the spine, moving it in all these directions. Last one there. Bring your arms down. Extend your legs out long. Take your hands back up overhead. And then on your exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Hamstrings pressing the mat. Draw your belly in. Coming up through your roll up. Pressing through. And then rolling yourself back down. Driving through this with intention. It doesn't matter how fast you can do it. It doesn't matter if you need to offer assistance to yourself coming down. It doesn't matter as you come up if you need to hold on to your hamstrings and offer assistance to yourself coming up. Just find these connections in your body. Get curious, get involved, no judgment, just movement. Staying up now on this one. Find that you can lengthen out through your spine. Sitting tall, lengthening out through your legs, slight separation in your legs. And then on your exhale, draw your belly in towards your spine, rounding forward and sitting back up tall. Now I want you to try to quiet your hip flexors here and use your core and flex through your spine for this movement, almost like someone has punched you in the stomach and you're really pressing back and over. Now it's really easy, as you're probably seeing with me, to make this happen a lot up here. And I'm always consciously trying to work on my lumbar spine getting rounded as well. And it's hard for me. So if it's hard for you, or if your upper is hard for you, or if this whole movement is hard for you, doesn't matter, we're in it together. One more here. And then from there, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. Sit yourself up tall. So you can help yourself feel your really tall position by really press your hands down and lengthen out your spine. And then see what happens when you take your hands away. Does it immediately go like this? Try to keep that length. Try to keep yourself right up on your sits bones, right up sitting on the edges. Extend your arms out. And then you're going to exhale, posterior tilt, rotate down to the side, back to sitting tall. Other side, exhale, rotate, and return. So adding a little bit of spinal rotation in here now. And then feeling yourself return and sit back up tall. Find your breath. Exhale as you come down. Feel your ribs still come together. And then sitting right back up tall, stacking your spine at the top. Let's go for one more on either side. And then place your hands down. Bring yourself around. And I want you to just hang out here for a second in that external rotation of your hips. Take your hands and push your elbows into your knees a little bit and feel that you can really try to open up into your inner thighs. Just allow yourself to grow into that. Now you can lengthen out your spine, and if this feels uncomfortable, totally fine. Just pressing in, opening up, really good for your hips. And then come around, come to your 4-point kneeling position. So this is where we're going to dive into the cat and cow now in this orientation compared to when we did a little bit ago when you were lying on your back. So palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Draw your belly in, tucking your tailbone under. Exhaling as you round through your spine. Press your palms into the floor. And then inhale, other direction, ribs open up towards the floor, pull your palms towards your knees. Feel that release. Exhale, rounding through. Tuck your tailbone underneath. Inhale, open. Live in this in your body. Let it come in whatever range and capacity feels good for you. Let it slow you down and quiet your mind and connect your mind to the movement. Just let it be. Inhale, ribs open, palms pull. Feel that extension, shoulders come away from your ears. Exhale, reverse. And then finding your neutral spine, taking opposite arm, opposite leg. Press them away from you, driving through, and return. Again, you might notice this as familiar. We did this at the beginning when you were on your back. Feel it now, maybe differently in this different orientation. But still getting that sense of arm and leg being pulled completely in the opposite direction, as far away from each other as possible. This sense of crossing over underneath your body, pulling and returning. Pelvis stays neutral. Last one here. And then place your hands a little bit in front of you. Bring yourself forward so that your spine is lengthened out. Core stays engaged, picking your belly up. Tricep push-up, bring yourself down, pressing up. So leave your spine lengthened out here. Feel your core working, stabilizing, triceps working, coming down. And then on your next one, bring yourself all the way down and set up. We're going to set up for some back extension work. So you can watch me and then begin, because you're going to have your forehead down on the mat. So placing your forehead on the mat with your palms on either side, thumbs pretty much in line with your nose or a little bit back. Take a second before you start and really lift up your shoulders. Elevate them, feel how yucky that feels, and then place them down into their places, into their pockets. Feel them depressed away from your ears. Keep them there. Inhale, pull your palms towards you as you extend. Exhale, core engages, control as you bring yourself back down. So we're starting with the Sphinx, where your palms and your forearms remain on the mat, and where you're just extending basically through your thoracic spine. So I want you to really try to feel this open up for this in the part of your spine that is between your shoulder blades. That's where your thoracic spine lives. Inhale, ribs open. Exhale, belly button pulls away from the mat. Stick yourself back down. It doesn't matter how high up you come. It does matter that you're thinking about doing this with your spine extending, not just bobbing your head up. Find that length of your spine. Now this time, the next time you're down on the mat, bring your hands back a little bit so that now your elbows are going to be, or your forearms, are going to be off the mat. Still find the length, but now we're going to come through more lumbar extension. So as you inhale, bringing yourself up, and then continuing all the way up, finding that core connection, and bringing yourself back down. Now if this doesn't feel good for you, then feel free to continue on with the previous version. This is a little bit deeper into your spine. I want you to try to still come through it with control, not just dumping into here. So notice that I am really in control, allowing my spine to extend and come backwards, not just dumping the load into it. And then the next time you're up, tuck your toes underneath. Bring yourself up into a high plank. From here, find that plank work. So you're connected from your center. Crown of your head pulls out all the way down along to your heels. Feel like you're being pulled along through your body. And then single leg pull. Lift, lower, lift, lower. So try not to have anything else be disturbed in your center. You're just keeping yourself really long here. Working from your core. One more other side. And then bringing your knees down. Opening up wide, press back into your child's pose. Allowing this glorious release. So we did all that spinal extension work, and now this is spinal flexion, and it feels really good because it counters the extension. And now we're gonna flow into some lateral flexion. So bring your feet and legs both to the left side into what we call your Z-sit position and sit yourself up tall. So find your grounding down from here. And then take your right forearm, placing it on the floor. Exhale as you press your arm over and fold down to that right side. And then coming over, other side. So lateral flexion of your spine is when we fold your spine to the side. So that's what we're doing here. We're folding it over at the same time that we're folding into your waist. Trying to get some work into your obliques. Really imagine that you're trying to get the most distance from the tips of your fingers here all the way down your side to your top butt cheek. And over time, we're working towards keeping that top butt cheek on the floor. And don't worry, it's a process, because mine is just barely there, and I've been doing this for many years. Crossing over. Now leave your right knee on the floor. We're going to come through some rotation for your spine. So bringing your left leg and crossing your foot over your knee. Feel yourself sitting up tall and then rotate around towards your left shoulder. Follow your gaze all the way around. Imagine it's like you're a corkscrew twisting up to the ceiling. Exhale, get a little deeper. Ribs twist. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale, deepen through your rotation. Very good, unraveling from there. And you're gonna come all the way down onto your side on the right. Now we're gonna start up high. So from this high position, I want you to feel work happening underneath. So we're not slouching down here like this. Feel some work happening here, and you'll feel a little bit of lateral flexion in this top side like we just were doing a second ago. And then from there, you can bend your bottom leg just to give you a little bit more stability. Take your top leg, bend it back to 90 degrees. I'm just gonna move forward a little bit so I don't hit the wall. Bend it back to 90 degrees, lift and lower. So essentially what we're having here is really deep flexion, lateral flexion through your spine, as well as some work into your obliques on the top side. Find your breath working here. Now, if this is feeling challenging from being up, I invite you to try to work through the challenge and the discomfort, because it is true that it's more challenging to be up here doing this. You can, of course, come down to your head in your hand or all the way down on your side if you need to. 3 more. 2. Last one. Now hold your inner thigh parallel, extend, and flex. So really trying to get that leg completely straight, driving it long. When you press it out straight, feel that working all the way up the chain from your heel, through your calf, your hamstring, into your glute. 3 more. 2, check in with that bottom side. Last one, now leave it down long. Come all the way down, sweeping it forward, pressing it back. Find your breath here. Notice what your pelvis is doing. You're trying to keep it in the same position. Exhale as you bring it forward, narrowing at your waist, pelvic floor lifts. Last 2. And then when it's back, bring both of your knees in, your legs in so that they're lined up. Knees are bent, heels press in together, opening up into your clam, and close. So this, of course, is external rotation here of your femur in your hip socket. But I want it to be initiated from your center. So come back here, find out what your ribs are doing. Feel your pelvic floor lifting. Feel that you are opening up and trying to wrap around here and behind from strong core connection, not just from route up and down movement. 3 more. 2. Last one. Now starting with it open, you're going to go toes together, knees together. Toes together, knees together. So getting some really great internal and external rotation here through your hip. And this mobility through your hips is really important. One, to just keep them mobile, but also to help with daily activities or athletic activities like running, dancing, any type of movement where you're going through lots of hip flexion, especially in the sagittal plane, which is up and down or forward and back, and you don't get to go into internal and external. 3 more. 2. Last one. Excellent. Okay, roll over onto your back. Lengthen out your legs. Arms come up. Bring yourself up into your, through your roll up, sorry. And then when you get up there, you're going to stop at the halfway point. Lengthening out from here. Hands come behind you. Feel yourself squeezing your shoulder blades together like you're trying to present your chest towards the ceiling. Core engages. And then I'm just going to move back a little so you can see. Core engages. Lift up. Leg pull front. So lift, lower, lift, lower. Find that connection. Feel your shoulders stabilized. Core engaging. Last 2. And then bring yourself down and flip your legs around so that now we can come to your mermaid and lateral flexion on the other side. So again, taking a second to come through the setup. Feel here that you're stacking your spine tall. And then come down onto your forearm, opening across, pressing through. Breathe into this. Exhale, flexing through your spine, pressing through your fingers. Unraveling, coming over other direction. Allow yourself to deepen into this. Live in it, be in it for the stretch and also for the work that you're getting to do in your spine. So when we move our spine in all these directions, we create space around your vertebrae and your facet joints, and that decompresses it and makes sure that it doesn't start rubbing together or cause pain or that the discs don't get cranky and bulge out. And if you've experienced any back issues or back pain, then you may be familiar with what I'm talking about, and it's not really fun. So it's nice if we can just move like this and it feels good, and we're doing good for our spine at the same time. Left leg stays on the floor. Take your right leg around, rotating through. Exhale. As you rotate, twist your ribs, looking over your right shoulder. Try to deepen this as you're here. You're a corkscrew twisting up. Inhale, and then exhale. Push through a little more. And then release from there. Coming down now onto your other side. So starting up on your forearm, legs lengthen completely out. Find this sense of connection underneath, picking yourself up, core is engaged. And then bend your bottom leg and bring it slightly forward. Top leg lifts, inner thigh stays parallel, bend your leg to 90 degrees, lift and lower. So getting this sense of folding here, and everything stays the same in your leg. So there's none of this or this. Really imagine you're just locking it into place and folding here at your waist. Find your breath, keep connecting underneath. Ribs are coming together on each exhale. Shoulders stabilized with your elbow underneath. Stay in it. That's 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, hold it parallel. extend, and flex. A little bit of good work here for your knee. Feel yourself work completely when it goes out there. Flex your quad, get it all the way engaged. Now I leave my foot flexed for this so I can drive through my heel, come all the way up the posterior chain, hamstring, into my hamstring glute. Do the same if it feels good for you and if you want that work. You can also try with it pointed. It's gonna be a different sensation through your body. 3 more. 2. Last one. Excellent. Good. Bring yourself down now. Leaving that top leg straight. Bringing it forward. Pressing it back. So for this one, I like to get really hands-on with my pelvis and see what's happening because it's really easy for it to take a sneaky little tip. So I encourage you to do the same and notice what's happening in your body. Not because it's wrong or bad, but because it gives you an area where you can be like, oh, cool, I get to work on that. And this may be different on different days. Like, for example, today my hamstring's pretty tight and it doesn't feel as free and easy as it usually does for this exercise. That's fine. Finding your breath always for that grounding down. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then bending your top leg. Both legs come together, parallel with knees bent. Heels press in, open, and close. So even though we're kind of lying, or we are here lying on our side, be in your body. Be aware, be hands-on. You're not just kind of slouching here like you would in your bed. You're thinking about picking up on your waist underneath from your core engagement. You're thinking about your ribs coming together. You're thinking about your pelvis staying neutral. You're thinking about this resistance as you open and resistance as you close. 3, 2, last one. Now from the top, toes together, knees together. Toes together, knees together. Internal rotation, external rotation. Feel that this femur, your thigh here, is twisting in your hip socket and your pelvis is staying in the same spot. It's challenging. That's okay. We're made to be challenged. Find change. Improve, grow, get better. You've got this. Stay strong. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Amazing. Okay, roll right over onto your back. And we'll take a second here to do a little bit of a stretch for your glutes. So you can cross that leg over. And then press on your knee or reach all the way through and hold on to your shin or hamstring. And just let out a breath. Try not to hold any tension anywhere because we don't need it. And then release from there, switching over to the other side. Pressing through and then reaching through. Quieting down anything that's loud or angry or irritated or burning. Just tell it that it's going to be okay. Just quiet down. And then bringing both of your feet to the floor, arms come out to either side. Drop your knees to one side, shift your gaze to the other, coming through your lumbar rotation. Breathe here again. Just let yourself be. Switching over other side. Rotating through, breathing into the stretch and the release. Again, another little bit of great work for your spine. And then unraveling, hold on behind your hamstrings, bring yourself up. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Take a nice deep breath in and let it out. Bring your hands to your ribs. Breathe in. Feel them expand. Breathe out. Feel them come together, just like how we started, right back at the beginning. Coming full circle now. Really just noticing how your breath feels in your body and how your mind is connecting to your body. Breathing in, taking your hands out to either side. Exhale, bringing them together as you draw them down and pause in front of your heart. Pause there and give yourself some love. Well done on showing up today to move your body, to do what was hard, to be inside of it, to commit to the time looking after yourself. And if it was hard, it's okay. You did it anyways. And if it was easy, great. Use it as the motivation to show up again next time. Because the important thing is to just keep showing up. Well done, everyone. Thanks so much for being here.